Love, it has been good to me this time around. Things were they were bound to change when it was found. Sugar never tasted sweeter on my lips. My heart is now intact and I can find
welcome to this week's gripping episode of X-Rad Live, the talk show that really does get you talking on the Xander Network, live from an undisclosed location. I know it's not Donna Brazil's panty drawer. I'm Xander Gibb, and on today's show, I get on my soapbox and give you the chance to get on yours and our phone in 845-363-4747. That's 845-363-4747. Don't call now. We'll tell you when to call in. Tammy Messina, producer from The Real Side, joins us to look at this week's hottest topics. And singer Ben Davidson drops by to debut his brand new single, which is called No One Knows. But you'll all know tonight after you've heard it. Oh, yes, sirree. You can have your say in the feed. I'm not sure whether it's above for you or to the side or somewhere over there or back east. But make sure you tell us what you think and get involved with the conversation. As usual, I'll be sharing your comments as we go. And as I said, you can call in when we get to that segment, 845-363-4747. That's 845-363-4747 if you're in America, God's chosen land. If you're in the UK, which is also God's chosen land, you can get to me via Facebook Live Messenger. Oh, yes, sirree. I will, of course, be joining Joe Messina on The Real Side at 6 Pacific. You can also follow me on social media everywhere but Twitter, because Jack is a socialist man boy with a penchant for liberalism. There you go. I said it. Oh, yes, sirree. So let's come to the live feed before I tell you who's pissed me off today. If I can just get to the right place. Here we go. Let's go backwards. Hi to Ben, who's our guest, who's coming on later on. Hello to Paul. Hi to Harry, my nephew here in the UK. Hello to CV Burton. Hi to Chet. Welcome. Hello to Robert. Hello to CV. Hi to Chet again and Robert again. Hello to Dave. Hello to Jonathan and Andy, another one of my nephews. It's like a family affair here tonight at Gibbster Towers. Hello to Ty. Welcome to the live feed. Hello to James. Hello to Paulina, one of my very good friends. And hello to Gina, my Gina. Welcome to everybody. So thank you, first of all, to all of those of you who have messaged me and commented on my page. Thank you for supporting me during my man flu. Now, I can hear you saying, why is man flu worse than the flu? Because us guys, you know, when you get the flu, it's a lot worse than you ladies out there. It really is. And I'm sure the guys in the live feed will testify to that. I just want to go back to a comment. Chet says, fantastic that women and men of New Zealand wore headscarves today in order to bend over for the Muslims and care. Yeah, I want to kind of talk about that a little bit. Maybe Chet's going to call in for his usual weekly call. Maybe we could do that. Let me give you the number again, 845-363-4747. That's 845-363-4747. I notice every time I say the word Muslim, my feed freezes even. I wonder if that is why. Not that we're out to be disrespectful to Muslims on the show here. We do respect everybody. But what we respect far more is equality and everybody being treated properly. on this planet, regardless of who you pray to. Hello to my friend Sarah in the UK. I hope you're good. I hope Paul is good too. Hello to Derek. Welcome to the show. Derek's son was on as a guest a couple of weeks ago. Dylon Vogt talking to us about autism. So I'm going to give out that number again, 845-363-4747. Hopefully Chet's going to call in for his hello, you live on X-Rad Live. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Donna Brazil's panty drawer full of large bloomers, and I heard you talking to me on the radio.
Yeah, that's so true.
I'm a Fox News contributor right now.
Yeah.
So I was on Hannity the other night, and I think you should just stop talking about me, sir.
Well, I felt, as people out there in radio land, and in TV land, that I'm disabled, and I happened to fall in the drawer because, typical liberal fashion, there was nothing to stop me falling in that drawer, and I'm not kidding you. Those panties were so big, Jerry Cottle wants to buy the whole content of the drawer. I could talk about this all night, but welcome back to the show, Chet. How is the world with you? And I want you to expand a little bit on what you were talking about, because obviously there's been a lot of commentary this week about whether the New Zealand attacks were real or not. In a lot of the scenes there were no blood. In the video that went out on Facebook, it looked like it was something from a kind of a war game, like a online combat game, that kind of thing.
Go ahead.
Here's what I'll say about that, Xander. First of all, and a lot of police officers talk about this, and they put out the videos of shooting incidents. There's not a lot of blood when you're using these high-capacity weapons. And you're right, it did look like a first-person shooter game, and I think that's the disturbing part, is that, we kind of look at this and we say to ourselves, man, that looks like one of the games my kids play.
Yeah.
And that's a whole nother topic for another day.
It is.
But to see what's going on in New Zealand, where now they're confiscating everybody's weapons, because when you talk about military grade, in New Zealand, what they mean by that, and people don't understand this, in my home, they would take my gun. It's a shotgun. You know why they would? Because of the capacity of bullets that are allowed in my shotgun, which is over 8, they would be allowed to confiscate my weapon as military grade. It is not military grade.
Right.
It is a shotgun. These people, they don't have a Second Amendment right. They do not have a constitution like we do.
No.
Now, and the crazy thing is, the leaders over there and the leaders across the Western world are now using this as sort of a Trojan horse, which was so convenient, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Now they're all wearing hijabs, and men over there, which, by the way, you're not a man if you do that.
No.
I don't care if you're straight.
No, men don't wear
straight,
hijabs.
Gay. Yeah, they're bending over, and it's unbelievable to me.
It absolutely is unbelievable to me too. But it's said that I always have to preface any commentary by saying I don't want anybody to be killed, regardless of who they pray to.
Of course not.
But I really don't want issues like this, lesbians, liberals, I want to say. I don't know where lesbians came from. Even liberal lesbians are now calling for the same thing to happen in the United States. But as you said quite rightly, in New Zealand, they don't have the Second Amendment. And to actually take away all guns just for one incident is kind of alarming. Now, even let's say for a second, even if you kind of looked at the issue of automatic weapons, if someone kills someone with a car, they don't say let's take all the cars off the road. When the guy killed someone in London on one of the bridges with a knife, they didn't say let's take all of the knives away. And to me, it's too simple to just say, right, let's take this all away. But remember, this happened in Germany. They took away all the guns from people in Germany, and then the government turned on the people. And it's happened in so many countries and civilizations.
Well, Xander, as presidential nominee in 2020, Bernie Sanders, I want to tell you that what we need to do is take initiative like they have over in New Zealand, and we need to take away all high-capacity weapons, meaning that if you have a straw
that shoots a spitball too far, we can come to your house, round you up, put you in a boxcar, and take away your high-capacity
So
store.
what about what about all the guns that Secretary Clinton has, and what about the porn stash that her husband has? What about that? Should we take that away too?
Well, I will tell you that the election was rigged. They threw me under the bus, so to speak, even though I wear a suit that's two sizes.
Dude, you sold yourself under the bus. You sold yourself under the bus.
I did do that. That is true. And you are absolutely right that we politicians, we go around with a heavily armed units that protect us. But I will tell you this. We have more rights than you do because, as you know, I'm a devout communist. And as a devout communist, I will tell you that we should be able to take your weapons because, in effect, if we do not take your weapons, you are going to hurt yourself or hurt somebody else.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that you should not be a patriotic American or what you would call a patriot in the United Kingdom, but I have to really give my expertise on this situation because I've never shot a BB gun in my life. I've never served in any type of service. I've never worked in the private sector.
Right.
But I should tell you how to control it. You see, I'm making a joke here and I'm doing this voice, but this is
Absolutely.
today, basically.
Yeah,
Xander.
exactly. But did you see? I'm terrible for locations, but did you see the guy that shot off the end of his penis because he put his gun in the edge of his pants, and so now they're saying men should not use guns. I mean, what the heck next? It really seems to me like they'll have absolutely any excuse in order to say let's take away our guns. But I think that what people forget, I was chatting with my nephew about this yesterday, and he was saying, and I kind of rebuked him a little because it's, this liberal ideology of saying, oh, well, when the Second Amendment was written, the most lethal weapon was a musket. The size of the weapon was actually not the point of putting the Second Amendment together. It was in order to protect everyday people from the level of governmental interference that we're seeing happening from the left. This is exactly what that is for.
Well, Xander, these are the same people that can't decide what bathroom they want to use, and they want to tell you how to protect yourself and your family.
Yeah,
Think about that for a
exactly. But don't forget, I'm a trans unicorn, so be careful what you say. Can you see the scar where I had my horn removed?
I will tell you one last thing, Xander. As a non-gun guy, which I don't own a gun. I've never shot a BB gun in my life. I think that we should at least start to recognize that guns have their own genders.
Yes.
And yes, there are more than two genders.
Yeah.
And we should recognize that as well.
But aren't all guns male because they all have like a protrusion? Even sawn-off shotguns might be female because they don't have a protrusion. But they would be trans guns then, wouldn't they? Because they had the protrusion taken away.
I've never even used it. I've never used a nail gun. I've never used a spitball straw. I've never used a BB gun. Actually, when I hear the word gun, I immediately call 911 out of fear for my safety. It may shoot itself in the drawer, and every good liberal knows that.
Don't you find it concerning? Let me put Chet back on the phone. But don't you find it concerning, Chet?
I'm sorry.
No, it's absolutely fine. I just want you to say Secretary Clinton in that voice. But seriously, this guy's never had a job in his life apart from being elected to local office and then to Congress. So what experience of life does Bernie Sanders have to be telling you and I how to live our lives? It's rather concerning as far as I'm concerned, because ultimately you've got to have life experience to tell other people where you feel they're going wrong.
Well, Xander, look at the 2020 nominees in the Democrat Party. You have creepy pedophile Uncle Joe. You have Kamala Harris, who got to the top by being on her knees. You have Bernie to let illegals vote. They all, Beto O'Rourke, Robert Francis, Bongo O'Rourke, who now says that it's the woman's choice to murder the child. That's the woman's choice.
Yeah.
If infanticide, they want illegals to vote, they want to take your guns. This is their platform. And unless you people wake up, you better make sure that Donald Trump wins in 2020.
You better make sure, because
We're hurt.
because I'll be opening up my house here for all of you Americans here in the UK. One final point, but do you actually see the correlation between what's going on over in America and what's going on over in the UK here with regards to Europe? You know, we need to take back our kind of calling. But ultimately we need to do that, and in order to do that, we need to take back the control. And the citizens should have a say in the control, not people who have actually just come into the country and are not there without any legal status. Very quickly, what's your response to that?
Well, I just want to tell everybody in the feed, I'm joking around on doing Bernie Sanders as an impression because I see people that think that's me, okay? So, wake up a little bit.
That is Chet being Bernie.
I think that what we need to do is get more politically active. Even though we did a great job in 2016, Xander, we need to do a better job in 2020.
We do.
We need more shows like yours and ours and everybody else that you have on your show to speak out more and to support this president. Listen, the guy has done more in 2 years against radical Islam
Absolutely.
than Obama did in 8 years. Not only that,
bye ISIS.
ISIS became stronger in 8 years under Obama, and
well, because he was arming them.
2 years to
because he was sending them guns. About your show on Sunday, I'm just hoping that wasn't Tammy calling, but I'm sure she'll call back.
Well,
so tell us very quickly.
I hope not too. Go to freedomondeck.com. You can find everything there. Okay.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, Chet. Have a great week. Speak to you soon.
Have a wonderful communist type of week, Xander.
Absolutely. Hello, you're live on X-Rad Live. What's your name and where are you calling from? Hello? I don't know who that was, but never mind. I hope to do a conversation. Oh, that was Tammy calling. Just 1 second. Get her to call back. So my next guest is Tammy Messina. She is a blah, 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 blah. Where's my auto cue prompter thing? She is a gun-toting. My machine has just gone mad now. 1 second. Let me just go backwards before we bring on the fabulous Tammy Messina. She's a gun-toting, Christ-following wife, mother with passions for holistic wellness and preserving our constitutional liberties. Amen to that. She's the producer of The Real Side and joins us live now from California. Welcome back to the show, Tammy. How is the world with you? Please tell me it's freezing cold in California, like -12.
No, it's the sunniest, most beautiful spring day ever.
Okay. Well, I will let you have your sunny spring day while we're having our freezing cold day here. We will have our day in the UK when it is warm. Oh yes, we will. So I want to jump right in. President Trump signed an executive order yesterday, billed as an effort to improve transparency and promote free speech in higher education. Now, the move comes after years of complaints that college campuses are hostile to right-leaning views and speakers. Clearly, the order is indicative that he agrees with these concerns about America's colleges. Now, the left is worried about the possibility of its effects in academia. Now, let me tell you the translation of that. This is the Xander translation. Dems are worried about their power to brainwash, the young will be diminished. Now, dare we hope that further legislation is coming to protect our free speech and prevent it ending at the keyboard. What say you, Tammy Messina, first of all, about this interesting bill with regards to colleges and also about the possibility of that extending to other places?
You know, Xander, I read this. It's an executive order, right, that you're talking about?
Yes.
It says, Executive Order on Improving Free Inquiry, Transparency, and Accountability at Colleges and Universities.
Yes.
So I read through this because, I've seen the news reports on it, and it's all about the free speech bill or free speech executive order, whatever. But, I read through this, and oh, my goodness. I broke it down, paragraphs. 3 paragraphs are about free speech. 13 paragraphs are about financial transparency and accountability on the college level, and 7 paragraphs of roughly literally 7 paragraphs of legalese, like this means that, and I'm talking about this agency, and I'm talking, this
right.
means these institutions. 3 paragraphs about free speech, and people are blowing this thing out of proportion. So what do I think it means? I think that ultimately what he put in there is, it's really about financial transparency, and if you want to keep getting funded for your research grants, then, and you're a public institution, you better be adhering to the First Amendment, which means you better be making sure that there's equal access on both sides of the debate.
Right.
Because you don't get good research projects by having a one-sided view.
Absolutely. And isn't it about time that we actually started to see this in America? Because I think everyone receiving public funding should be adhering to the Constitution. And if you're not constitutionally sound, why should you get the money? And the thing is that if you're discriminating in what you're doing, which, let's face it, a lot of these colleges are, a lot of people with a lot of Republicans and conservatives that go to colleges or go to speak at college campuses. I mean, hell, some are even getting death threats. How is any of that constitutional?
Or punched in the face.
Yeah,
right. I mean,
absolutely.
Some of them are getting right out in the middle of the public square, getting punched right in the face just for saying something that happens to not be popular.
No.
When did we succumb to that? And I was listening to, I can't remember who it was the other night, talk about how they had this, I think it was Charlie Kirk, they had to spend $15,000 on campus security to be able to come on campus and get shouted down, then get shut down. But really and truly, if the colleges just looked at the liberals and said, okay, well, then you guys can't have your speaker either. Since you shut this one down, we shut yours down.
Right.
It would stop.
Yeah.
It would stop.
But isn't that fair? Isn't that fair? Isn't that a fair thing to do? Right.
Yes.
Absolutely.
If you're going to shut down somebody else's voice, then we'll shut yours down. I mean, the university needs to be the moderator and not the advocate. And they're advocating for the indoctrination side that you alluded to earlier, as opposed to moderating, allowing an open exchange of ideas.
And that's concerning, because that's so un-American. Because I might not agree with someone's perspective, but I'll fight like heckity for them to be able to have their say. I mean, there are certain things I can't support, but in fairness, equality and freedom of speech have to be the same for all of us. Because if not, then it's not American, is it?
Right. Exactly. And he in this executive order, he called out a differentiation between public institutions, which are publicly funded, like the UC out here, University of California.
Yeah.
Just the state universities. Some of them are federally funded, some of them are state funded. But if they're funded with public funds and they're getting federal funding, he called them out specifically as needing to be complying with the First Amendment. But he also called out the private institutions, stating that they needed to be in compliance with their own stated institutional policies regarding freedom of speech. And I think that's important, too, because, these private institutions, they have their own, I don't know what you call it.
Ideologies, policies?
Guidelines.
Yeah.
Policies, guidelines. It's like a corporation. They have their own rules that they have to follow for their governing their little body there. And, if they're not even in compliance with their own, then that's going to be a problem. But I think it's interesting because I'm sure before those private ones like, Harvard and Yale and those Stanford sort of places are getting any federal funding, somebody's got to be looking at their thing going, okay, those are good. Okay, we can provide funding for these because they're not discriminating. It's not only Christians are allowed, or it's not an only black college. Or,
no.
They can make decisions based on what that private institution's guidelines are for operating. And if they don't want to give money to them because their guidelines are not inclusive enough, then that's the federal government's, prerogative.
Absolutely.
Which I think is fair as well. So as long as they're operating under their own guidelines, then they're, that's the limitation there.
Exactly.
If their guidelines say we're not going to adhere to First Amendment free right speech. We're a Christian college, so you're not going to come on here and talk about pro-choice stuff. That's fine. And you don't have to give your federal funding to them. Maybe they don't want your research money.
Right.
That's okay. You don't have to give to them. No problem.
At the end of the day, it is going to be a clear choice, but I think that that's absolutely fair enough because, the taxpayer money is going to pay for these things, and it should be, representative of everybody. And stifling any views on a college campus is kind of concerning as far as I'm concerned. I didn't go to college. I went to college to kind of, debate and talk things through, not be told what to think.
So, as I was reading through this executive order, the freedom of speech and open debate is such a small part of this because really and truly what he was aiming at doing is lifting the financial burden of higher education on students and making equal access more equal for kids that are having a hard time being able to even get into college because the costs have skyrocketed.
Yeah.
And he's also trying to eliminate the default that's happening on student loans because he's concerned about the impact to the economy, which I think is a valid concern.
Absolutely.
So the real aim of this whole thing was really at financial transparency, accountability, and aiming at reducing student costs, which I think is good. And the other thing that's interesting is he's putting a big burden on the colleges and I can say we've been through this taking our kids through the financial aid process where you go in and they're like, oh, yeah, okay, so you want to do women's studies? No problem. It's going to be, $80,000 a year for 4 years.
Wow.
Oh, sure, there's lots of jobs that you can do this job and that job, and they'll list them all out for you. But what they don't tell you, and if they ask, if you ask them, you'll get some kind of cloudy answer about it. But how many of the students that leave your university go straight into a job in their field, in that women's study field, or that athletic training field, or that culinary field, whatever it is that your child chooses? And he's putting in here data collection stipulations that to continue to get funding, you need to be collecting this data, and you need to be making it open and transparent to the students coming into your potentially coming into your student body. In this field, these many people come out and land a job right away in their field, or these many people don't land a job in their field. Or I think that is good.
Yeah, absolutely.
To have.
Don't you think it's interesting though that the media has only kind of reported on one aspect of the bill rather than the whole bill? Yeah,
very tiny. It's about maybe 10% of what this executive order is about free speech. The rest of it is aimed at trying to, reduce costs, give access to students, and make sure they have information to make a good choice so that they're not unemployed when they end up leaving and then holding the bag for $200,000 worth of debt that they have no way of paying, because who's going to hire somebody in women's studies other than another indoctrination university?
Yeah, exactly. I want to move on to the next topic because we're time bound. But it seems Fox, in their infinite wisdom, spot the deliberate sarcasm there, has given disgraced ex-DNC chief Donner, here's the Christians Hillary Brazil, a job as political commentator. Now, Brazil says there's an audience on Fox that does not hear enough from Democrats. Really, Donner, I thought that was what CNN, Cesspool News Network, was for. Now, if dishonesty is now an entry qualification for a job at Fox, maybe more CNN staffers will be applying. Clearly, the fact that Disney has purchased the channel has influenced this decision. With this in mind, and the way they've treated Judge Jeanine Pirro and Tucker's Carlson censoring, is Fox dead in the liberal waters, Tammy?
Yeah, I don't know. I did a little bit of research on this, I have to tell you. And in this acquisition process, supposedly Fox News, Fox Sports, Fox Business is going to be split off and not underneath the Disney umbrella, and they're going to become their own entity.
Right.
So I'm under the assumption that they're not operating under Disney right now, and this is really just a function of what's happening inside Fox right now. But I think, I don't know. I looked at what Judge Jeanine said, and I looked at the response, and I think the Donna Brazil thing is completely separate from the Judge Jeanine Them bringing on Donna Brazile was just stupid. Yes, there's forgiveness, but when you're talking about journalism, you don't bring on somebody who tried to cheat in a presidential election, for heaven's sake.
No.
That's
because what does that say about what you're trying to do?
There's a line drawn there.
Right.
You know, let her get a job somewhere else. I'm sorry. She and it's not a Fox thing. She doesn't need to be in journalism, period. She crossed the line. She needs to go write a book, go work for the DNC, do something else. She needs to move on. That's completely separate from me for the Judge Jeanine thing. But the Judge Jeanine thing is very concerning because she wasn't attacking anybody. She was asking questions.
No.
If you can't ask questions to provoke thought, as a commentator, because she's not a hard news lady. She's a commentator.
Yes, exactly.
Opinion person. If you can't ask the questions, you're dead.
Yeah, it is a worry. And I did a little bit of research about this, and the person that I shared this in my feed this week, the person that actually, I was going to say subpoenaed, the person that actually disciplined her was a Muslim. Why? If this is the case, then does this mean every time someone on a news network criticizes Christians or says something about Jesus or Christianity, can they now be suspended too? I think there's a legal issue. I'm not a lawyer, but for me, there's a legal issue here with regards to freedom of religion, and her commentary should not be subject to that kind of response because someone happens to be a Muslim who's her supervisor.
Yeah, that's kind of frightening right there, isn't it?
It is.
So,
it is.
You know, I was, as I was doing the research on this one of the things that came up, you know, her direct quote is a question. Is her adherence to this Islamic doctrine indicative of her adherence to Sharia law, which is antithetical to the U.S. Constitution?
Right.
Question mark. That's a big honking question mark. So I think that's a valid question. She wasn't. Now, she might have answered it. I didn't hear the rest of it. She might have said, well, I think it is. Well, that's an opinion. She's allowed to have that. That's called First Amendment. But then Representative Omar, responded in a tweet, and she said, thank you, Fox News. No one's commitment to our Constitution should be questioned because of their faith or country of birth. So that's wrong. Okay, now everybody's going to be like, oh, yeah, that's right.
No, it's not right at all.
That's First Amendment, but it's not right because I guarantee you, if we start questioning somebody's adherence to the Constitution, who happens to be a satanic devil worshiper who sacrifices small children, I'm pretty sure we're going to question their commitment to our Constitution because that's illegal.
Exactly. I mean, but let's face it, from day one, both her and Rashida Tlaib refused to even take the oath of the Constitution of the United States of America and, put their hand on a Bible. You know, we live in America is a Judeo-Christian country. If you cannot swear to uphold, its principles, then why are you even in public office?
Exactly, because they're part of the overthrow contingent.
Right.
They're infiltrate and overthrow. And it's very clear. I mean, and they're using our own laws and words against us. No one's commitment to our Constitution should be questioned because of their faith or country of birth. So she's automatically throwing the First Amendment out there, which most people are going to totally go, yeah, she's right about that, but it's not true. It's wrong.
No.
And country of birth, nobody's saying anything is about your country of birth.
No. It's actually about her attitude and commentary. Yeah, it's actually more about her attitude and commentary. I mean, wasn't she, do you remember there was a picture of her and Rashida Tlaib in front of a map where Israel was actually, totally obliterated from the map. I mean, Israel is our sister country, and there is this anti-Semitism that's seeping into government on the left in the United States and here in the UK too, and it's rather concerning. I think we've got very short memories about how the Jews have been treated over the years, and we should, as a nation, both sides of the pond, not be allowing this to happen.
Yeah. We had a rabbi on the show last night, and he made a comment that I thought was it pretty much drilled this whole subject down in a very succinct manner. And he basically said, I'm paraphrasing, but it was, a U.S. Congresswoman, he didn't even call her Muslim, a U.S. Congresswoman made some anti-Semitic remarks. The Congress takes it up to decide what to do about it, and they come back with a resolution where they condemn hate speech and especially Islamophobia. He said, how do we go from anti-Semitic remarks to condemning hate speech and and Islamophobia?
Yeah.
He said it's so twisted up it doesn't even make any sense, and it still didn't address the issue.
No. I don't think this is going to change overnight, unfortunately, but I think it's something that we have to be standing up for against and commenting on, because I'm finding that people are just kind of brushing it by the wayside, which really scares me, that in 2019, members of Congress can make anti-Semitic comments and not be A, rebuked by their party, or B, penalized by their party, or C, taken out of their position. It's concerning, because like you and I both know, if this had been said about a Muslim or about Islam, they would have lost their jobs right away, and quite rightly so. But why do we have this differentiation? Why is it not the same all sides of the aisle? If you, it should be.
Yeah. Well, what about there's Jews serving in Congress?
Right.
Our Democrat Party.
Yeah.
Where are they on this? Are they hiding in a corner somewhere,
Great point.
hoping not to be beheaded?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah. I asked that the other day. I said, where are the Jews on the left, and why aren't they kind of speaking? I personally, as an ex-Democrat, I kind of think there's a level of indoctrination within the Democrats that dictates that you should not speak out against anything that's going on with the Democrats. You'll find an excuse for it all of the time. That doesn't happen on the right. We're equally critical of both sides, but that doesn't happen with the left, unfortunately. And I think this is clearly why not more Jewish people are not in Congress are not speaking out against this level of commentary.
Let me ask you this: with regards to the Judge Janine situation, have you heard any major conservative commentators come out in her defense?
Not really.
So we're having problems in both directions. Everybody's just, when it has anything to do with Muslim or Islam, I'm guessing everybody's just shutting up because they're afraid.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of think that's concerning, to say the least. We are, unfortunately, I just realized the time as we got so engrossed. We are out of time. But tell people about your show when they can hear it. And who's that gorgeous guy you have on there tonight? And I don't mean your husband.
Oh, Joe's on there every night. So he's Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific time. That's 9 p.m. to midnight Eastern time. TheRealSide.com is where you can find us. And on Friday nights, we have this fabulous guest. His name is Xander Gibb. He's so awesome. And he's on right after his show's over. So you guys can just follow him over to our show. Hop in the chat room on the website, or you can join the Facebook feed. And there's lots of very wonderful conservative, Christian, Jewish, whatever, you name it.
Everyone's welcome.
But everybody is just very wonderful to chat with. And so join us.
Absolutely.
We would love to have you.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Producer Tammy Messina from The Real Side. Make sure you check out their website. All of the contact information is on the X-Rad Facebook page for today. Thank you so much, Tammy, and I will see you in a little while. Put that kettle on, and I'll have a nice cup of coffee when we get there.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
See you in the green room.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thanks a lot. Take care. That was the fabulous Tammy Messina. Make sure you check out The Real Side. Make sure you check out me on there right after this show. We overran just a little, so I'm going to go right into the next segment. Singer Ben Davidson has been in the music industry since he was 15 in bands and as a solo artist at events such as the Radio 1 Roadshow, etc. He's also performed at London's Earl's Court Arena and the Café de Paris. Ben is also an accomplished songwriter and independently released 2 songs, original songs in 2016. Now in 2017, Ben joined forces with SP Music Management and Energize Records. Ben released his hit Falling In on the Show, which reached #1 on the UK iTunes vocal singles chart. He joins us once more to share his new single, which is called No One Knows, and we're going to take a little listen to that right now, and we will talk to him right after we hear it. Hi Ben, welcome back to the show. How is the world with you?
Hey, it's good, thank you. Yeah, everything's been really good. It's been a busy week. I'm tired, but I'm excited and happy.
Yeah, you've been up to Glasgow, haven't you, for the launch of the song?
Yes, I had a big event in Glasgow last night. Really great. Some really good artists came and performed with me as well. Single's done really well. The release has gone really great. So everything's just been kind of just piling on. I've been lucky.
So do you have to take a translator with you to Glasgow? Because I've worked there a few times, and the locals, I find it very difficult to understand. Have to get them to talk just a little slower, because they talk very fast in Glasgow, don't they?
Yeah, they do. I've actually lived up here for 5 years now, so I don't actually notice the accent until my friends visit from England, and I notice the English accent. But I can understand the Glasgow regions easy peasy now.
And have you learned the kind of like the subtle? There's a lot of subtle nuances. I have a lot of Scottish family, and if you've never lived in Scotland or you don't know Scottish people, there are like words that they have that are just kind of, not in everyday use. Have you found that easy to transition to?
It took me a while. It did take me a while. So they say things like, instead of saying why, they say how.
Yeah.
And I go, how what? And they're going, how? And they're like, what? And they said, why? And I'm like, they just say why.
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it, if you're from the South, to kind of, it's like never the twain shall meet. And I think every area regionally in the UK has its little kind of like foibles and like words. I heard one the other day. Someone said they said, "Oh, I bought a T-shirt or an item of clothing," and they said it was nunty. I'm like, "What the hell is nunty? What does that mean?" So it kind of sends you off to countdown to speak to the girl in Dictionary Corner to find out exactly what it means.
It's crazy, yeah. I think the English language, I think they feel because they've originated it, they can then just do what they want with it and just make words up now. And it's just crazy. They can't do that.
Absolutely. So let's talk a bit about the song. Is this one that you wrote? What's the story behind it?
Yeah, so this is I wrote this song with two other guys, so Dan Scholes and Paul Cox, really fantastic songwriters. It's a love song, it's about finding that person and just knowing that they get you, from everything. They get everything, and you can just be yourself. And it's that special kind of love, and I think it's something people can relate to. When people meet someone and they have that connection, so it's kind of like it's that moment of realization that you found your soulmate, really.
Absolutely. Now, as a songwriter, I'm always interested in the process of other songwriters. Do you get the tune in your head first, and then you write the lyrics, or do you get the lyrics first and then you put the tune to it? How does it work for you?
It's a difficult one. I think it depends. Like sometimes I have a pad and pen by my bed because I can sometimes get a melody like during the evening, and I'll wake up with a song stuck in my head and start writing things down. I'll randomly just sing a melody into my phone and then come back to it later. Mine kind of come all over the place. I'll be watching a TV show or a movie, and a scene will happen and it'll be a theme that sticks with me.
Right.
And I'll have like just a sentence or like a theme for something. It's like, and it just comes in waves to me, to be honest. There's no real strict thing. My kind of creative brain is always moving, I think.
So are you involved in, I don't know about you, but when I write a song, I want to be involved in all parts of the process. Because I find sometimes that when you go into a studio, everybody else takes over and they kind of tell you how it's going to sound. But for me, my song is kind of like my baby. And I know how I want it to sound. And then I get in the studio and when people want to try and kind of, make it into something that it's not, it kind of bothers me. I want to be involved in every aspect of the process. Are you involved all the way through, or do you just say, make me a backing track for this and see what happens?
I think Some people would probably like it if I just said make me the backing track, but no, I'm a complete diva. I am I'm completely involved. Not so much. Like I'll let them. Like I was saying, like this track, for instance, this was very much a collaboration, and I kind of did the melody and things like that, set it off, and then I got the backing track back from the producer. But then I was hearing all these other things, so I was like the guitar solo after the bridge. I could hear it in my head. It wasn't in the original demo. So I couldn't explain it by typing. So I literally just plugged my microphone in and sang the guitar part, pretending I was a guitar. So I was pretending to be an electric guitar, and I'm like, and sent it back to the guy, and he was like, where do you hear these things? I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, that's just where my brain went. So this was very collaborative. I'm very much involved in, like, if I don't like a specific sound in the track, I'll come back and forth. The guys I wrote this with are very collaborative as well. So really fortunate. Some other producers aren't so much. They're kind of like, no, that's how it is. That's it done. But when you're involved in the writing, I think it should be collaborative because it isn't just yours. It is kind of a joint thing. So I've been fortunate that I have really good co-writers in that sense, but I'm involved in all of it 100%.
So do you kind of test your limits? Because I know as a singer my range is quite wide, but I know a lot of singers are kind of very lazy and they just kind of want it comfortable. But I do push the boundaries with my voice. I can sing very high or I can sing quite low too. But do you find as a singer that you kind of want to push those boundaries to actually allow your voice to naturally evolve further?
Well, you just heard the song, it's very rangy. I do sometimes think I am Mariah Carey, probably to my voice's detriment. It makes it very hard to sing my songs live. I have to really, really warm up because most of my songs are, I try and use every aspect of it.
Yeah.
And I think that as an artist now, you kind of find your own thing. And I found even when I first started out, when I sang covers, when I hear a song, I hear how I would sing it. I never listen to someone else's track and think, oh, that's lovely. I listen to it and go, oh, I would have done this, I would have done that.
Right.
And I like to be personalised. I like to think I've got quite a unique voice. I don't think there are many male artists that sing with the range I do or use their voice in the way that I do. And I feel like I'm always trying to do that. There's a track on my album called Lie to Me, and it is a beautiful ballad, all piano, and it was very high. It started all off in falsetto. It just built and built and built and built. But then when I was listening to it and was recording, I was like, I feel like I need to change this up a bit. And then I took it down an octave. So I started the track an octave lower and then built it up. And then by the end of it, I'm soaring up in falsetto and all over the shop. So I think it's important to test yourself and especially like ranges and softness and inflections on your voice, and to try not to overdo it but then not lose your sense of artistry. It's a balance, but it's always evolving. It's a
very difficult balance, isn't it? Too. Now, do you find I've been sick this week. I've had the man flu. I want everyone to know, and cards and chocolates and flowers are kind of welcomed. But do you find that you have to kind of singing quite often in order to keep the top of your range?
No, not necessarily. I mean, I'm always singing anyway, so maybe that's a bit of a lie, because there isn't a day go by when I'm not singing along to something or annoying people by singing in the car and whatnot. But
are we twins, dude? I think we're twins.
I tend to. I'd probably get in trouble if I was like with a vocal. I've never had any vocal lessons. I've never had a vocal coach. I haven't been trained in any way. So I'm absolutely sure that I'm doing something wrong somewhere, because I can burn out if I sing too much. But I've never warmed up, things like that. And maybe it's something I should look into to, rest my voice in that. But I just tend to, it's an emotional thing for me. Like if I'm in the zone and I'm in the moment and the music's on and I'm singing away, it tends to sometimes doesn't even feel like it's coming from me, it's coming kind of through me, if that makes sense.
It does. Yeah. It does, absolutely. I actually found this week I kind of like lost my voice a little bit, especially with regards to singing. But I missed it because I find myself doing it unconsciously. I'm watching the TV and, I'll start to sing and that kind of thing. Because I think music is such a huge part of my life. I really want to ask you this because we're kind of really coming to the end of our time together. I know you're a dad. I know you've got a couple of boys. What do they think about Dad's music?
Well, it's a tricky one, actually, because I've got two sons. Drew is 6 and Logan is 2. And I've got them with a lesbian couple, Steph and Diana, but their mums are both deaf. So they don't really have music, per se, in their lives at home because it's a silent house. So when they come up here, like Drew especially, being 6 now, he's like, Daddy, put your song on. And he'll dance around to it. He's like, that's you. Sing, Daddy, sing. There's 2 of you. So he gets very excited by the fact that obviously his mums don't talk in a natural sense. So when he comes and visits and he stays over and things like that, he finds music and that really fascinating. It's something that he's really drawn to. So I think that's going to be something that they kind of are drawn into naturally because of the dynamic just between the parentage that they have. But Drew, he puts it on and he likes the pictures and stuff, so he likes my CD covers and that. He goes, Daddy, you look really good there. You haven't got messy hair in the morning, and he's very funny in that sense. But musically, he wants everything up really loud so he can dance to it.
Absolutely, the age of innocence. It's kind of an interesting. I did a gig once when I was in Brighton, and there was a guy in the audience who was blind and deaf, and his carer came up to me and said, "Oh, Zan, my friend wants you to know he really enjoyed your singing." And I laughed, and I was like, is he taking the piss? And he's like, no. He actually feels the vibrations of your voice through the floor and can actually tell if you're any good at what you do. And I was kind of blown away by that. So I guess there's this kind of element. So maybe you should buy their moms a copy of your album and let them feel the vibrations.
Yeah, so Diana's come to my gig. I did a big showcase in Manchester, and she came, and she was the same. She had a hand on the speaker and stuff. And I actually tend to use one of my friends, Kelly, is a sign language teacher, and she gets on stage and she signs my songs. So I'm performing and she'll be signing to them, so she can get the sense of the theme of the song and the vibrations from the speakers and stuff. And she says the same. She's like, it's good. I love it. I like the theme. I can feel it. So. Yeah, I love that translates over into the deaf community and things like that. Still, it's incredible.
Yeah, I kind of find things like that so interesting, and I did actually when I used to work in London, I had some deaf clients, so I had to learn sign language. I had to learn Makaton, and I actually learned a song once in sign, which was kind of it's difficult to sing and do the sign at the same time, but I found that very interesting too, because I'm sure, like myself as an artist, you want your work to be as accessible to as many people as possible.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, 100%.
Brilliant. So listen, we are coming to the end of our time together. I love your new song, so very best of luck with it, but tell people where they can buy it and find out more about what you're doing.
So social media is very easy. All my handles are the same. So it's B Davidson Music on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You can buy the single at Amazon, iTunes. You can stream it on Spotify, Deezer, Tidal. You can buy physical CDs if you want. We ship all around the world at the Energize website, which is www.energizerecords.com. Literally just YouTube. B Davidson Music again. You can watch the video for No One Knows and my other singles as well. So everything's all in the same place. Absolutely.
And all of Ben's contact information is on the X-Rad Facebook page for today. Listen, Ben, thank you so much for joining us. As I said, good luck with the single. And you come join us again when you're doing another release.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks a lot, Ben. Take care.
Cheers. Have a good one.
You
Bye.
too. Bye-bye. That was Ben Davidson. Make sure you go and check out his music. That's all for us now. Nick's asking to be referred. It's all of the information is on the X-Rad Facebook page for today, so you can check all the links out on there. and go and see what else Ben is doing. Thanks to Stefan at SP Music Management, who supplies us with some fabulous musical guests. That's it. We are done. Stick around. Don't go away. Join me on The Real Side with Joe Messina right after this show. So grab a cup of tea. Stick around. I'll be back next week. I love you all. Bye-bye.
It's been good to me this time around. Things were bound to change when it was found.